everyone, welcome back to my channel. If you're new here, my name is Carla and I like all things stationery. This video is a little bit different from my usual videos. During the last weeks of pregnancy, I felt the need to organize certain places of the apartment. One of them being my craft room. As you can see, this is a very small space. It's actually considered to be the storage area of the apartment. Yes, I was also surprised about this when we got it. But in Sweden, when you rent an apartment, you usually have a storage area. In the previous apartments I lived in, I had a storage in the attic and a storage in the basement. And I thought all apartments would be like this. So you can imagine my own surprise when we got this apartment and the storage was inside the apartment itself, in the bedroom. In the beginning, we did use it as a storage and filled it up really quickly with all the moving boxes and appliances boxes that we wanted to keep and all sorts of other things. But we quickly realized that this wouldn't really work for us in the long term, so we ended up renting a small storage unit close to where we live, where we keep all sorts of things that we do not need to have in our apartment. And then I turned this space into my crafting little area to avoid bringing all the clutter that I usually make while working on my projects into the common living areas. Anyway, I thought that this would be a perfect time to go through all my things and organize them in a way that would make it easier for me to keep the space neat after each crafting session, and to also be able to know what things I own and where they are. This whole process was done over several days and not in a very clear way. I tried to rearrange the footage in a way that could make sense, even if it's not really the chronological way I've organized this room. So the first thing to do was to start removing everything from its current place and spread it all around. If you see things magically appear and disappear from places within this footage, is because of the rearranging of the footage, and everything was not done in a single stretch of time, but over the course of several days. So then I started with the easiest task and something that I kind of enjoyed since I was a kid, which was testing all the pens. Don't ask me why, but I think that this is kind of soothing and relaxing. And as I said, I've enjoyed doing this since I can remember. Yeah, I'm kind of weird that way. I find it hard to throw these things away, even when I don't really like them or use them, and this also applies to all these pens. Most of these I got at scientific conferences over the years, and they are not something that I particularly like or that are particularly special. But I feel the need to keep them as long as they work. Thankfully, each time I do this type of pen testing, which is not that often, there are a few of them that have become dry or stopped working properly, and I feel at peace to throw them away. Then I wanted to do something about my washi tapes. A while back, I bought these plastic holders from Amazon. I think I had seen them in another creators organization video, and I thought that they were a great idea. Well, they weren't. At least not for me. First of all, these things are quite fragile and they will easily break when dropped, which is not a very good thing for someone as clumsy as I am. Actually, one of them arrived broken already. Second, it's not really convenient when you prepare washi tape samples to send away to have this type of holder. I prefer to work with the washi tape itself when it's free from any type of support. Third, if you leave your washi tape attached to the cutting part, there is a risk that the glue in this part of the washi that is unraveled will stop working. And that means a part of your washi tape won't work anymore. Finally, these things still take quite a lot of space, and I couldn't fit all my washi tapes in here. So for all these reasons, I want to get rid of all of these, and I decided to put my washi tapes on these IKEA hook things. I already had a few of them before, and I really like them. They allow me to clearly see all the tapes that I own, and it's really easy to reach out and grab any of them that I want. And so I went to IKEA and got more of these holders so that I could fit all my washi tapes in them. Then, if we continue on this organization panel, I gather all my wax seal things and place them in this holder. And on these other cups, I placed smaller random items. These were things that I couldn't find a proper place to fit them, and I wanted to keep them close by so I could remember to use them. Moving now to the other side of the wall, where I have another of these IKEA boards, I have these two bigger paper holders on the bottom. One of them holds all my to-do projects, which can include incoming letters that I have yet to reply, and so on. And on the other holder, I keep other types of documents that I want to have close by. Then, on top, I'm keeping all my die cuts in these magnet sheets that I got from Craftelier. Again, trying my best to keep things where I can see them so that I won't forget that I actually own them. I keep some of my limited memorabilia or special items in this tray, and I placed all my philately items and some rulers in this little holder, and all the things I need to post letters to my pen pals on the other holder. This includes all these CN22 forms that we need to fill in to send letters outside the European Union, and also postage stamps for me to use. Now you will have a chance to get a look at all the papers and stickers that I currently have. Oh, and all this was before I started receiving the Your Creative Studio subscription box, so this stash has actually slightly increased. I started with looking at all the fussy cut and die cut papers that I had in this little box, and how I would store them in the envelope book that I made a few videos ago. I tried to rearrange everything by theme or in a way that it would make sense to me. So basically anything that looked like a label or could be used as a background was kept together. Then I had all the flowers and nature items together as well. Book-related things were kept on its own pile, and anything with writing on it was also in its own pile. And then I had a smaller one for just miscellaneous items, which could include pillows and knitting and food-related things and so on. The bigger pieces that I couldn't fit in the envelope book, I kept in this little box. One other thing I did, and I took inspiration here from Vivian from the Paper Letter blog, was collect all the washi tape samples I had received from my pen pals into a ring. And this is now also hanging with all my other washi tapes. I often use the samples I get on my journal. Sometimes I also use them on crafting projects, but mostly I will use them on personal things. I think this is a really good way to be able to keep them all together in the same place, and again, somewhere where I can see them. And I use these small organization drawers from IKEA for all the bigger fussy cut items, which included girls and other bigger elements. Since I filled up the envelope folder with the fussy cut papers, I had to improvise a little with the sticker organization. I had previously tried different types of solutions, from having a type of card holder with little plastic pockets and then just keeping the stickers there, but that didn't work for me. I now have a reusable sticker book. I'm not sure that one works either for me. Then I have this box where I just remove all the stickers, and that clearly doesn't help me much, so I'm trying something different. I'm using these little envelopes that are meant to store postage stamps to keep these little individual stickers, and I still try to organize them by topic or by something that would make sense to me. And I also kept a few envelopes with the stickers I created here at home, so the hydrangea ones and these blue shaped ones. One good thing about these envelopes is that they are kind of see-through, so I know what's in each of them without having to open them. From the items in these small boxes, which used to be the boxes I would take with me when I left home, in case I wanted to write something in my journal, I moved to the plastic organization boxes. These had been unopened for so long that I had almost forgotten about all the things I had inside and all the fussy cut elements I had. I think this was a most needed organization session, and I also managed to throw away some of the things I believed I would not use. It is high time for me to start to be able to let go of things I'm not comfortable using and I'm not okay with giving away. Don't worry. Most of it were things I made myself and I just thought they were not good enough. Also, if I ever change my mind, I can always just make them again. As you can see, I transferred most of the items from the big box to the smaller one. My initial goal was to get rid of one of the boxes and have more space in the room, but that was not possible as I needed space for some of the larger items and I couldn't have that in the little box. I think it's also clear that I came into this with no obvious plan, since I keep on changing my mind on where I place some of the papers. It was an exercise on trying to foresee how future me would craft and if I would be able to remember where I placed everything. I move on with cleaning one of the drawers from the screen table. You will later see how I'll refill it with the paper. This table from IKEA has 2 drawers, but I only use one of them for crafting material. In the other one I keep some important documents, photos and computer related things, so we will not be looking at that in this video. As you can see, there's a mix of things here. I have a tendency to store everything in one place when I need something to look neat really fast. So that means that I make sorting through all of these things and putting them in their proper place my future me problem. I also spent some time moving stickers from my first handmade sticker book to the Midori reusable sticker book I got. I purchased it since I thought it would be better than the one that I made. And although I think it's good, I'm actually worried that this paper might actually be too non-sticky, if you know what I mean. I have a bunch of stickers that don't really hold their place in this book, which can be quite troublesome. Has anyone else experienced this issue with this type of reusable sticker books, or is it just me? We move on to tackle all these random papers in this IKEA paper organizer and the ones in this see-through and white boxes. Once again, the first step is to just take everything out and try to pile the items in different categories. Since I don't really have that many shelves to place all different types of papers I bundled together, I opted to store them in plastic binders that I already had at home. That way I would avoid purchasing any new boxes, even though I'd like to buy boxes. These plastic binders will later be placed close to my table, where they will always be within reach while I craft. From going through the papers in the IKEA white paper holder, I moved on to everything I had in the boxes in the cabinet. One of these had postcards. I'm not a postcard person since I like to write long letters and postcards are just too small. So while going through these, I was also trying to understand how I could use them and incorporate them in my Happy Mail creations. I do have a large variety of postcards. Some of them I bought at secondhand shops before I found my own style. Some I got in the mail from charity organizations, and others I got from subscription boxes like the Paper Gang stationery box. I then moved on to the boxes where I kept a mixture of smaller craft papers and scrap bits of papers. My goal here was to separate between these two. So then we would have, let's call it the good and intact paper that could be included in a project on its own, had never been used before, and these went into a plastic folder. And then we would have any item that I had already used or cut or teared in some type of way. I would keep them inside this box. I also try to separate between the larger scrap papers and the smaller ones, since they could be used in different ways, and I was just afraid of kind of losing the smaller pieces in the middle of the bigger ones. So like this, I have a place to put all the larger scrap papers and then a separate one for the smaller ones. So in short, what I'm trying to do here is actually creating a home or an obvious home for all the items in my stationery collection so that it is easier for me to find what I need when I'm crafting, and it's also much easier for me to clean things once I'm done with a crafting session. So, while you watch me going through all the rest of the papers and books and so on, maybe there's a time now for a little short life update. At the time I'm recording this, my little baby has been with us for a little over 2 weeks. So far, I think we are adjusting quite well to this new life. We take it one day at a time, and all days are slightly different. Sometimes he sleeps more, sometimes he sleeps less. I think we have been super lucky so far that he has been a good sleeper during the night. And I am enjoying every moment of it, since I am well aware that this can change at any time. Obviously, with his presence in my life, I have less time to do these videos and crafting, but I've also tried to plan for it by recording some videos before his arrival, like this one. I also currently have some items on my to-do list when it comes to this hobby, and I will try my best to keep up with the current uploading schedule. That means a video every 2 weeks. Pen paling, crafting, and this YouTube channel are part of my relaxation time, and they are important for me to keep some type of sanity, especially now when I sit home alone with the baby for the majority of the day, since my Sambo is back at work. Anyway, for now, I am still confident that I can make this work. If this is true or not, only time will tell. Getting back to the organization process, next on the list was this wooden looking drawers from IKEA. In the bottom drawer, so the larger one, I keep all my envelopes. These include not only the envelopes that I bought, but also some that I've made. As you can see, I have a lot of them. And honestly speaking, I don't like the size of the majority of the ones I do own. But I'm trying to remain strong, and I will not buy new ones until I have significantly reduced this stash. This will probably mean that I will be making more envelope folders and more projects involving envelopes as well. For example, lately I have been wondering how to use these blue aerogram envelopes. Once again, I bought them on a whim from a second-hand shop long ago and never really used them. So if any of you has any ideas, could you leave a comment down below? I went through the other drawers one by one and I tried to understand if I could relocate any item or not. Here is my small stamp and ink collection. As I mentioned several times before, I don't really use a lot of stamps at the moment, but this is gradually changing. I've decided that this collection could fit into one of the smaller drawers, so I tried to organize it the best I could. I just left behind the clear stamps since I thought I needed a better way to store them. And they would not all fit in these drawers. Then it appears that some of the clear stamps I had gotten at a second-hand shop kind of melted into a sticky blob. I had to throw away the majority of them, but managed to salvage 2 of them. Now please enjoy a first glimpse into my postage stamp collection. More will come later on. All of these little envelopes have postage stamps organized by country, and I still need to go through them and understand if I want to keep them or if they go to my giveaway pile. Now, this is what I call my sticker collection. In this box, I kept all my sticker sheets, both used and unused, and 2 of my sticker books. I started by sorting them based on if I had used some of them or not, or if they were completely new and unused stickers. And I tried to find a place for all of them. Then it was time to go through all my glue and other random things that I kept on this sorting little box from IKEA. Finally, it's time to tackle all the bigger items that were inside the grey cabinet. These include obviously some folders with important documents that I am not showing here, of course. It also has my notebooks, sketchbooks, vintage books that I got to do crafting, and honestly speaking, I'm not sure when I will run out of old book pages considering how many of these I got, but I just can't seem to stop myself from bringing more books home. In order to make this video a reasonable size and not 4 hours long, I had to speed up most of this footage. So you're not really able to see the inside of the books or anything else. Just let me know if there's anything in particular, any item that you are curious about, and I can see if I could add a flip through of that one to another video. You will also get a glimpse at my obsession with postage stamps and philately, even though I haven't been able to spend much time sorting them. You can see just how many albums and stamps I have. This is another of what I call probably an addiction to buying more stamps and more albums if I can find them in secondhand shops and if they are at a very good price, which is what happened when I was in Lund. Fortunately or unfortunately, depending on how you see it, I haven't been able to find any second-hand shop nearby that sells postage stamps. So can be a good thing considering how much I own already, or it could be a bad thing since I have no way to continue this hobby. By the way, there's some baby sounds in the background. He's sleeping, but babies are noisy when they sleep. This is another drawer I decided to keep. I remember I bought it at Lidl some years ago. I like to use it to keep the inks for my fountain pen, different sticky notepads that I receive from my pen pals, and hole punchers. And then, since I had some free space, I added other little things that could fit in there. Now it's time to put everything back in its new place. Starting with my postage stamp collection. For the first time, they all fit in the same shelf and they're not mixed with any other type of item or book. Then I have all the books that I bought for crafting. Yes, there are a lot of them. And since I had some space left, I added my pen pal book and my sketchbooks. In the bottom shelf, I have all the folders with some of our documents and my notebooks and journals. And on the top, I have my photo album that is still a work in progress. And the green one is the one that I will use when the red one is finished. I used the bottom shelves of this cabinet to put some random items that might still need some more organization, and it's just stuff that I don't look at for a long time and I don't really use. Finally, I stored some of the papers I had sorted into this binder, and I placed it where I could easily reach it while I'm crafting. And that was it. Now we can take a look again at the footage of what the room looked like before I organized it. And after. I am quite happy that I was able to create some empty spaces that I can expand into while keeping everything in its own place and relatively organized. I hope that this new system can help me keep things neat for a longer time, especially after long crafting sessions. And by long crafting sessions, I mean that I will most likely just craft for a few minutes every day, and it will take me days to complete the project. I think having a system that works for you, and in this case, a system that works for me, becomes even more important after having the baby, when the time for these type of creative endeavors is shorter than ever. I really hope you enjoy this video, even though it's something different from what I usually post. I'm looking forward to actually post more different type of content, not just pen paling and opening letters, but we'll see what I can come up with. And we reached the end of this video. If you made it through all the way to the end, thank you so much. I hope you have a lovely day. See you next time. Bye!